Okay, looks like we're live. Looks like we are live. All right, what's up, everybody? This is Timon here. Welcome back to another Tuesday stream here for Legendary Game of Heroes. I originally thought that I wasn't going to be able to stream tonight. I had some scheduling conflicts, but I was able to push it out a little bit, so I'm going to try and do a quick video. We're going to get right to the point. We're going to talk about this deck and took a quick look at the cards. It looks pretty interesting, and in fact, it feels like it might be a really strong deck. And I've saved up all of my coins from the previous event when we had a 50% off. So I will be able to craft this deck regardless of whether or not I pull the cards. So, hello everybody, welcome to the stream here. We're gonna go and open up some cards here. My hope is I still pull some gold cards, but if not, I can at least use my coins to craft the full deck. So I'm at least, gonna be able to showcase how it's gonna work. We're gonna take a look here. And we see Bowen and Chimeng Hong, Faris, Master of Fate, Simo, Steve Johnson. So we got Gentry in the house, a longtime player for Legendary. I recognize the name here. JC Winch, and hello everybody. Thanks for joining me here. All right, so let's go ahead and open up a few tiers here. We also got Hans Wurst, Rockdeed from Hans from Germany. Nice. So Catherine, is it really worth crafting? I'm going to talk about it, and in my opinion, it always depends on the cards that you have, and the question is whether or not you will be able to take advantage of it, and just from what I'm seeing, it might be. So let's go ahead and open up the tiers here. So this also, let me go ahead and change this because that is not the right right picture. This is also a King Arthur deck, all right? So this is a deck that features King Arthur and Merlin, and so I'm pretty excited about it because I've always loved that lore and that story. And so our first vault reward now, not very good. So let's go ahead to tier 2. We just got some evolution coins there. Let's go to tier 2 and let's see what we get here. And we got Mark Chamberlain from England, welcome, and John Solis joining us. A fellow guildie. Welcome to the stream. All right, so this is our tier 2, and this is Nimoy. Nimoy, yeah, support hero. And let's see. So we actually get two support cards here on tier 2. So that's all right, I suppose. But what I really wanted to hope to get is some decent gold cards this time around. I am going to be getting less cards this time. And so anything that we can get will be appreciated. Okay, so let's go to tier 3 and let's see what we can do there. So we're gonna be able to go up to tier 4, so that means I'll be able to get at least the main event card. So when I do craft the cards, I think I should be able to get the shiny as well. So let's take a look. So this is our first gold card, and that is Excalibur, which is one of the guaranteed gold cards. That's the event relic, and this is an arcane. This is an arcane killer event as well. All right, and so we got our third support card. We got lots of support cards this time around, and let's see. Do we seriously just get 4 support cards in 3 tiers? Lots and lots of support cards here. Not gonna be able to evolve them all probably during the event, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I get 4 support cards total, and we have 1 relic. All right, let's go to tier 4 and see what we get over here. And we got Hurricane Cat, John Wilson, and we also have Arizona in the house. So we got, again, people from various different locations. And finally, we got ourselves a copy of Merlin. All right, so Merlin is our main event hero, and I really like this art. I really like the art for Merlin. I think it's really cool. And we have our second relic. So we got 2 relics for the event so far. 1 main event hero and 4 support cards. Let's see, do we get lucky with... I guess we got lucky in that we got a 3rd relic. So we got an extra gold card, I think. Oh, here's another gold card. And this is Arthur. So this is going to be our Master Collection card on tier 4. King of Avalon. All right, so we got some luck there, and so I will be able to save some coins. I'll be able to craft a full deck here using just 42 coins and not having to use all 84. And so let's see what we ended up getting here. So we got 2 relics total. We got ourselves Merlin, and then we get 1 Master Collection card. All right, so let's go and craft our deck. Let's talk about it. I think it's worth crafting if you're waiting for something strong for Commander events, and if nothing else, if you enjoy the whole King Arthur, lore and whatnot in the storyline. And look at the ultimate relic. That looks really cool, actually. I will not be able to get it because I'm not going to be able to get the tier 5, but I actually think it's kind of cool. All right, so let's take a look and see. I will not be able to get the shiny because I don't have Blazing Condor, I don't believe. So that sucks. If I don't get it in the collection, then I will not be able to get the shiny. And I do have I think I have Sokichi, I just don't have it evolved, I don't think. So I'm going to have to get lucky there. But I am going to go ahead and craft the Ultra Rare card right now. So let's go ahead and craft it so we can get our ultimate form. And then we will put it in and take a look at the cards. And we will talk about, what the card's all about, like what it's like. And also what we can do with them. So Colin William Deep, the previous 2 Arcane Commander Killer teams are horrible. I will have to agree with that because the previous one was I forget the name now. If we go and take a look at Light Power Arcane Killer, it was Paragons of Passion. And that deck, the reason why it's not good or horrible, as Colin William Deep says, you need to pair this with 2 other cards from the deck itself in order to use it. Okay, like you need to build up stacks of triple love, and it resets every turn. So it's not like you can take 1 card and just build up that stack. You can only use it if you have multiple cards. So if you have this ultimate form, you can use it just for the killer skill bonus, but as a card on its own, it really is pretty bad. Like its battle skill is very, very minimal. Like what it does is it gives you, it gives you a little bit of a heal. It increases your arcane killer attack by 400%. And it gives you 2 power gem force for every stack of triple love. You're only going to get 1 stack, right? So you're only going to be getting 2 power gem force, and that's it. And it has a 4-turn cooldown. Overall, the card itself is really not that great. And so let's talk about this particular deck then. So we are going to go ahead and build up our team now. So we're going to be putting in the Divine Sovereigns, Lady of the Lake, Arthur. I really wish I could have gotten the shiny. This is the one event where, I think the shiny would have been really, really great to add. But I don't have it. Most likely I won't have it because if I don't pull Blazing Condor, then I will not get that. So we'll put in the support card. We'll take a look at the Merlin card. And now let's take a look at the battle skill and, why I think this is a good deck. Or at least I think it's going to be a good deck. So we'll start with Divine Sovereigns. This is the Arcane Killer card, like I said. And if you take a look at the battle skill, when you see the little thunder symbol, you can already tell that it's going to give you an extra something, like an extra. Generally, it's like an extra attack. Okay, but this one, so battle skill Divine Right. What this one does is it gains the bonus attack buff for 1 turn. What it will do is it gives Excalibur to the next light commander that activates their battle skill. So after you activate this skill, the next card that activates will gain a 500% damage attack. So it matters now where, the order in which the order in which you activate, and then you need to sort of decide which one you're going to use. And then the bonus attack here, what happens is it basically gives you an additional nuke, but it's exactly 100% of the damage instead of, what we saw before with, with Freedom Fighters and Hard Won Guerrillas, where it's actually 5 times attack. No, this one is just going to take whatever attack you get from the card itself, and then it will nuke it a second time. Okay, but this happens the next turn. And you also have a passive ability where every turn you create 6 light power gem force at the very beginning. So you don't generate power gems by your battle skill, but you passively spawn them at the beginning of every turn. And then when you boost the card, this card itself will attack for a nuke that is additional nuke for 100% of the attack, and then it also has a passive ability that will give you a revive, and it heals for 20,000%. So The very next card that activates will get a 500% boost. You get the same thing from Lady of the Lake. So Lady of the Lake is the ultra rare card, and this one, the battle skill says give Excalibur to the next light commander that activates a battle skill. Excalibur increases their damage by 500% for 2 turns. So if you want to sort of like chain the battle skills here, the thing about this is it's only going to give it to the next card that activates instead of assigning this to a particular card, right? So originally when I first thought about this, I was like, oh my gosh, if I put in multiple copies of the ultra rare card, or if I bring in an ally, right, then I could theoretically give one individual card a whole lot of damage boost, but that's not how it works. You can only give the damage boost to the next card that activates, and so as soon as you activate the next card, you sort of lose that skill, right? And so what happens here is you would probably want to use the ultra rare card and boost, for example, your ultimate form, and then your ultimate form is going to get the 500% damage boost, and then what it'll do is you can then attack for 500% damage boost, and then the next nuke damage is also going to be 500% damage because of the main attack that he dealt. And the ultra rare card, the ultimate form, will also pass that 500% onto the next card that activates. And so if you find cards that can deal a lot of damage, is a very high damage dealer, then it makes sense to do that. And so that is sort of like, off the top of my head, there are a couple other cards that also grant additional damage boost cards. And I think that if you combine multiple of those, you can get some really, really good damage there. So let's take a look at Arthur, which is the main Master Collection card. So this is a card that will create 6 power gems and then also gain the bonus attack buff. So Arthur, when you activate a battle skill, will generate power gems, and then whatever damage it deals, the next turn it will deal exactly the same damage a second time. It also is a revive card. And so I think the ultra rare card also has a passive ability that spawns power gem 6s. So ultra rare card plus ultimate form, that's 12 power gem 6s at the very beginning of the turn. You activate ultra rare card, then you activate ultimate form. You might consider, you could activate Arthur next, or you can activate another card that's going to gain additional damage boost. And what I'm thinking about right now is going to be another card, but before I move on, let's talk about the rest of the cards first. We also have Merlin, which is the main event card. Now, this card also has the nuke for also 100% of the damage, and it creates 5 power gems. Okay, so it's 5 power gem force, not 6s, so slightly weaker than the Master Collection card, but it's essentially the same skills. So Merlin, I think personally should have been more powerful than Arthur, given that it's Merlin, but it is what it is because he got relegated to just the main event hero as opposed to the Master Collection card. Or maybe it would have been good as the ultra rare card, like Merlin plus King Arthur. Anyway, so this is a support card here, and the battle skill will give... Okay, let's see. So next light commander who activates their battle skill will heal for 5,000% of that hero's recovery. So what you want to do here is if you have a card that has the highest recovery value, then it makes sense to give that ability to them, but you don't want to put this on a high damaging card, okay? And you definitely don't want to activate your ultimate form or your ultra rare card and then support card. So activation order really matters here, simply because the skill will dictate how your next card is going to work. All right. Passive ability also creates 6 light gems at the start of each turn. So that means if you have like a bunch of a bunch of support cards, you're going to start your turn 1 with a full board of gems that crushes into a bunch of power gem 4s. It's actually not too bad. And so let's go ahead and change our relics too. So we're going to test this out. I'm going to also show you some of the other cards I'm thinking would be really good. So first, let's go ahead and put in Light Commander relics. And so we've got... So we got 2 Caliburns, and beyond that, let's see, do I have any Arcane Killer Light? Yeah, I do. So I can use this, right? I can at least use the relic. So that would be just fine. So I can do this, something like that. And then, so this is the deck on its own. And so I'm going to put this in the order that I think would be good. So let's take a look here. Lady of the Lake should be activated before the ultra rare card. So let's go ahead and swap this around. If I were to play with the full deck, then I would probably put it this way. From left to right, it's going to be the support card, then the ultra rare card, then your ultimate form, then your master collection card, and then whatever else, right? In this case, it's going to be Merlin. Both of these cards are going to nuke afterwards, but that's with just the base, like, you know, sort of like just the deck on its own. Some of the things I'm thinking about as I'm, you know, looking at cards, I think it's Noble Killer, and I want it to be Commander. So only Commander, okay? You cannot do this you cannot use this against like a light card. You cannot boost a like Slayer card, for example. All right, so Haunted Hunters, for example. What happens when you activate this this card? It also consumes. Let's see. This one will. Okay, yeah. So with this card, it will. You know, every time you attack, you get additional stacks of alchemized, and when you activate it, it will consume those stacks of alchemized and give you 20% damage boost. It will give you 20% for every stack that you consume. So you can go up to, I think, 6 times. So basically 120% damage boost. So an example would be if you have Haunted Hunters in here, and this card does, you know, 8,000 attack or something like that, you can activate the ultra rare card or the ultimate form. Then you activate Haunted Hunters, which also so it gets 500% from the Divine Sovereigns, and then it gives itself, let's say, you know, another 120%. So you're giving this card a 620% damage boost because of the ultimate form. So you could potentially make Haunted Hunters deal a really big amount of damage, okay? Because this card, the Divine Sovereigns, it applies it to any light commander card. So there's no, there isn't any restrictions. Okay, there's not any restrictions to it, and so you could, you know, you can go that route too. That's one example. Because it's Arcane Killer, you also have cards that give you attack boost. So you've got Jailers that can, you know, that can boost all of these cards. You've got a lot of different options. But let's go ahead and take a look at this deck in action and see how it goes. So we're gonna go and we'll pick a Legend Trials deck, and for now, let's see. Just to sort of showcase how this works, I'm gonna go ahead and summon Alastor, and then we will use the deck, and then we'll try it just to sort of talk about the order that you're activating. All right, so let's take a look and see if there's any sort of questions there. So Darkseid, you got the full deck at 2 pink stars, and you didn't need to forge, so congratulations on that. Okay, so let's see. The question is, will Jailers help? And any sort of attack boost, any damage boost will help. Damage boost is going to always be more significant than attack boost, to be honest with you. Like, especially like, you know, in this case, it's a 500% damage boost. That is really good. And so what I'm going to showcase here, I'm going to showcase a couple of different builds. Like, I got 4 support cards, and then including the one I'm going to get for free, I'm going to get 5 support cards total in this game. So you can sort of see just with the support card, and I think because of the ultimate form and the ultra rare card, I'm getting passive gem spawns every single turn, right? And basically almost filling up the entire time. And so it's really good for wave format. Like, I'm always going to be able to activate my cards in turn 1, and I'm always going to be able to attack every single turn. So I think that this is, you know, this is a very good mechanic. I actually like this mechanic. And the previous event, the Earth event, where the event card also spawns gems every turn, I actually like that. I have an alt account that got a bunch of event cards. I was using them, and they work pretty well. I actually like them. All right, so let's see. We have one more attack remaining, so let's go ahead and attack, and then we're going to activate in order, and then we will see the damage difference of all of these cards. So we're going to go ahead and activate in the order that I just explained. So you see that both the ultra rare card and the master collection card now, they have the 500% damage boost. So we can see the damage difference between the two. And yeah, so you can see just, the ultimate form dealt about 5 times more damage than the ultra rare card. And that's how it works, right? So you're not boosting the entire team. You're boosting a single card. And so, but the boost is really big. It's a really big boost at 500% as opposed to something like, an additional, 100%. So and then you're going to get an additional, nuke after that. So it's going to be one of those cards that can really help you take down a big level boss, like an ultimate, like an ultimate boss. Like it can help you kill the boss earlier. In terms of like the overkill, because you're getting that 500% damage boost as part of your damage already, you might be able to get your overkill a little bit easier also. All right, so let's see, what did we get here? Didn't get any gems this time, unfortunately. But now let's take a look also at some of the other decks, right? So like one of the things I was mentioning is like, if we were to change this out for Haunted Hunters, for example, I don't know if I want to, just an example, right? So Haunted Hunters is one option. Another option here is like you can go with a bunch of support cards, and that is also going to be really good just because you could fill up the board every single turn, right? So this is like a possibility with just a support card. You'll be able to get get a lot of gems there. And then again, we're gonna go ahead and change the relics here, so I can actually put in this. I can just fill this up with this for now, right? Like it doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of showcasing how this is gonna work. And then we can also kind of talk about using something like jailers, right? So if you wanted to do something like with jailers, first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have the right killer skill. And while jailers is going to give you a killer skill, it's only going to be at the earth side. So if you have no light cards, if you have 0 light cards, then you could potentially consider something like using Earth Commander, and that's going to give you Jailer. And if you have Hard-Won Gorillas, then you might as well pair that. So what you're getting here is at least, you're not going to get the 10 times attack boost, but this is probably something that will at least help you take out some of the maybe gold to maybe platinum bosses, right? I'm not sure you're going to be able to go beyond that, for example, but I think that you could do something to that effect. All right, so let's go ahead and put this back in. So like I said, you could go with Paragons of Passion if you don't have the current event deck. Not one that I would recommend, just because, well, if you have the event deck, then you wouldn't want to use the Paragon's Passion. If you don't have anything, then this is still a better option. It's just that the ultimate form, not really that good. Okay, and so if you want to do something like this, then yes, you probably want to consider putting in Jailers in here. That is a good, that's a very good card for boosting your arcane cards. And so theoretically, you could do something like this. Theoretically, now I'm not going to showcase Paragon's Passion because it's a very, very simple card. You're really just using that for your boost. But if I were to do something like this, how would this change things, right? I think what this means is I'm just going to get additional output, and I may actually want to do something. I just want to see how this is going to work out. So Haunted Hunters is not going to get benefits from the Jailers, but it is going to get benefits from Divine Sovereigns and also its own damage. And so let's go ahead and do this. And it's actually kind of cool if we play against Alastair, it's going to hit a bunch of turns, and so with that, I will be able to build up my stacks of Alchemized, which could also help me get more damage output. So let's go ahead and summon this one more time so we can sort of see how this works in action. Okay, so let's see. Michelle Farrell, what about Curators of Pain? So Curators of Pain is was the ultimate form that I rated as one of the worst in Generation 3. It's also an old ultimate form, so the best, if you have it at 1 stars, then the best that you can get is 4 times the damage. And you're going to get that already from the support card and also from your event card. So you're not really boosting the current deck. And it's really not a card that gives you much in terms of power gems. It doesn't give you a lot of power. And so it's a very old and outdated card. And you could try putting it in there, but I don't think it's going to give you that much of a benefit. So Oliver, wouldn't it be best to use Starborn Sentinels with Jailers? Yes, because you get the delay, right? So I'm just kind of testing out different options here. So first, I'm going to use up a bunch of keys. I just want to kind of show you what it's like when you use multiple support cards. I'm not going to actually defeat a boss here, but I just want to kind of showcase see like every single turn, this is what's going to happen. So you get a bunch of I guess it's not Power Gem 4, it's Power Gem 1s, but let's see, right? So we're going to just kind of do a couple of turns here. This is just with the support card and with the event card. Now, with a bunch of support cards, really what you're doing is you're just giving heals. You're just giving a bunch of heals to the next card. And Merlin can actually, generate 5 Power Gem 4, so it's not bad. But you can see here, every single turn, I'm going to be able to fill up the entire board and do Gem Crush and then, just kind of get the gems this way. So that is with a bunch of support cards. I put in 4 in here. I think that's a little overkill. Maybe 2 or 3 should be sufficient to guarantee that you'll be able to use the cards every turn. So the question here is like, shouldn't we use Starborn Sentinels? And if we were to do that, I could consider changing out Arthur. I'm not sure that I necessarily need to. How would I do this? If I wanted to do Starborn Sentinels, then that could work. Is it chaotic? Right? I would probably activate that before activating the current event deck, right? So this is an example like that we can try also. So let's try this out. So Starborn Sentinels, it passively creates power gems every single turn, and when you activate it, it gives you a when you activate it, it also gives you a turn delay, which then additionally powers up your jailers. Now, if you could activate jailers also, then you're going to get additional boost. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to even... I guess I could. I just need to hit it one more time and I'll be able to activate it. So we can see the maximum damage output. But like, I can't show you what the damage is going to be like turn 0. Not that it really matters, because turn 0 isn't what you're looking for in commanders anyway. I mean, like, if you wanted to defeat the bosses quickly, then yes, I see that. Come on. It's going to be hard for me to do Earth Gem matches though. So let's see. That one got overridden. So it's going to be hard for me to match the Earth Gem. So if you really wanted to, you're going to have to put some Earth Gems, I think, in the beginning. So like it just, that's the only downside to this mechanic, is that it's going to be really hard for you to do off affinity gem matches when you need it. So like, for example, like I'm trying to match, my Earth Gems, but I'm having a hard time right now because I don't have anything that would actually generate it, spawn it, and so I can't really match them because they keep getting overridden. Unless this is... I guess I could. Okay, so now I could actually activate everything. So now let's go ahead and take a look here and see what happens. So we're going to activate it from left to right. This is the order that I would recommend. So we're going to go ahead and activate. So this gives me a attack boost, a second attack boost. Now I'm going to give 500 damage to my ultimate form, 500% damage to my Haunted Hunters. Oh, and the only thing is, because my my arcane intensity went really high, it created a bunch of Earth Gems that I couldn't actually get rid of. And so you saw the damage difference there though. So my ultimate form was dealing around like 750 something billion, whereas the Haunted Hunters dealt only about 30 or so. And the reason for that is because my jailers was boosting my arcane cards, twice. And so in this case, there's really no reason to be using Oh, nice, I got 100 gems. So there's really no reason to be using Haunted Hunters in this situation. It's better, you're better off simply putting in another arcane card in here. And so sort of like when you test it out, I would say that if you're going to be using Jailers in your mix, if you're going to be using Start Sentinels, Jailers combination, then you might as well just put all light arcane commanders, because you're getting the 500% damage boost on top of the attack boost. So you're gonna get the attack boost that gets added to your base attack, and then you get the damage boost, and both of them combined gives you a really good good damage. And so let's see, SMC. I don't know that I got it in the codex, so you're telling me to check my codex. I don't think I ever had it. I mean, maybe I did. So it should be Light Corrupt, and it'll be Generation 2. If I have it, that's great. But you can see I don't have that. Oh, it's a creature. That's not Corrupt. It's creature. So yeah, so you can see I don't have that card at all. I never received it. I never got... Unfortunately, I never got that card. And so I couldn't get it. That was the deck where I managed to get the Primal Guardian from crafting using the runes. But I never got the ultra rare card. Right, so it is unfortunate. I do not have it in my codex. Okay, so going back to this team, like, do I think it's worth getting or not? Honestly, I feel like if you have the right combination of cards, like you saw here, like let's go back here, right? Let's go back and take a look at the final setup that I have here. In my case, you know, I'm combining Startborn Sentinels and Jailers as a way to boost all of my cards, and I could boost two. I could boost these two just from an ultra rare card to, you know, Divine Sovereign and also King Arthur. So I think that I could deal some pretty good damage here, especially you know, if I do turn 1, I could just, you know, I could just activate it with one boost. But if I manage to get Jailers activated in the first turn, I could boost it twice. So then let's kind of see what happens, right? Like, because of the fact that I am spawning so many light gems in the beginning, I might actually consider putting in more of the earth gems, earth relics. So if you put more earth relics in here, then you'll be able to give yourself that power gem, the match that you need. So let's try it one more time. Not legend trials. Oh yes. So we'll try this one more time. We'll go up against Alastair again now with the change in our relic. So you see, like, if you use all light relics in the beginning, then you're not really going to be able to match your Jailers early, and that's going to be an issue, right? So what I've done here instead is I've just, you know, put in a lot more earth relics in here to help guarantee that I could actually activate Jailers. Okay, so here what I can do is I can activate Jailers, and I'm still going to be able to spawn enough gems every single turn so I can activate. Like I didn't do a really good job trying to match here, but I could actually if I wanted to, right? And so now I'm gonna quickly go through. I'm not gonna try and search for a way to activate. So we're gonna compare the damage output now. Like, it should be about the same. You should see about 700 billion for both my ultimate form and also my master collection card. That's what you should expect to see. Okay, and this is with a single key on a silver boss. And so let's see, Rocky Miller, I got the full deck. Yeah, so I end up crafting. I was ready to craft both cards, but I managed to pull the Master Collection card on tier 4. And so I only needed to craft one card instead of two. And the question comes down to, like, do I think that this is a deck that is worth spending both of your gems, both of your, all 84 coins to craft and leave yourself with nothing for fire? That's going to be a good question. Like, I was prepared to do that because I knew that I was going to be able to get enough to craft, probably get enough to craft almost two, by next event, but I knew that I could at least craft one more. And so I was prepared to do that because I think that this deck is going to be really strong. And Commander is really sort of like, I need the cards to be able to take out the bosses. And so I like to try if I can. But Fire, as you know, Fire will really be, you know, a deck that will, so in this situation, like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to deal that much damage. But as I was saying, Fire, well, I actually dealt a lot more, 1.5 trillion now for each card. So Fire, for the last 3 events, have had very similar skills, right? Fire Commander, and this time it's going to be Fire Slayer, and there have been some really good Fire Slayer decks, and so I'm always excited for a Fire decks because most people can forge one by that point. And so if you want to save, it's not a bad idea either. It's just that keep in mind that the arcane killer cards that we've had in the last few times now for Arcane Light Commander, cards are horrible cards for Light Commander. I mean, like, let's just take a look, right? Light Arcane Commander, we've got Paragons of Passion, not good. We've got this deck, which I think is really strong, and I don't have anything else because I do not have Curators of Pain. All right, but that is not what I recommend. And so now there was a request to also take a look at the counter, so we can take a look and see what we're dealing with. So we have Judgment. That is one that we need to deal with. Judgment is, I think, if you get hit by Judgment, you will lose health when that card heals. So you heal when you get hit by that one. And then you also have Fear. So Fear is going to be a little bit of a problem. But there are cards that dispel fear. There are cards that can dispel fear. Also, there are cards that dispel anything that is a considered a buff. I can't remember which light cards do that now, but there are some cards that can do that. And also, if you get hit by fear, though, the thing is, like, with your support cards, with the other cards that fill up at the beginning of every turn, you're just going to fill it right up anyway, and you'll be able to use it right away. And so it's not too bad if you have passive gem spawners that can just like spawn a bunch of gems for you. So I don't think it's going to be too bad. And then we have Weaken. Okay, so Weaken is going to be the problem here because if you are hit by Weaken, you will not be able to apply the damage boost to another card. Whether it's the card that is getting applied to or the card that, like, I don't know which way it's going to be. Whether, like, if my ultimate form gets hit by Weaken, therefore I cannot activate it because I cannot boost the next card. Or if I'm the ultimate form and my ultra rare card, when it gives me the boost, I can no longer boost. Like, I don't know which way it's going to be. I explained that really badly. So with Weaken, normally you cannot activate your card if your card boosts yourself, like an attack boost or something, or it applies a attack boost. You can't activate a battle skill if you get hit by Weaken. And I'm thinking that given that this skill is providing the next card a boost, I guess it's no different than just saying all Commander or all Slayer or something like that. So I would imagine that Lady of the Lake, for example, if Lady of the Lake gets hit by Weaken, then her ability to pass Light Commander, the 500% damage boost, it will not work, and therefore you will not be able to activate Lady of the Lake. That's what I think will happen. So it's going to be very important to have a Weaken Dispel. Let's take a look and see if we have Weaken Dispel in the support card. We don't. Let's take a look and see Merlin has Weaken. So Merlin at least has Weaken Dispel, and so that is at least something that will be good for, let's say you have an ultra rare card, you don't have the full event deck. This way you save Lady of the Lake, you'll be able to use that. Let's see, are there any other light commander cards that also dispel Weaken that can be useful? There's quite a bit. And so you also have Eshe or Eshe. This card is a card that will create up to 10 Power Gem 5s if you activate it. And so this is also a relatively good card. Like, if you have, you can also use this, right? You can also use this or the ultimate form of this. So that is going to be... The ultimate form for that deck is also a really good deck that you can also put in there, which is going to be Afterlife Alliance. It's also a really good deck because you can also spawn a bunch of power gems in here. And, you can give this card a 500% percent damage boost if you want it, right? So you can get a ton of power gems for this deck, for example, and then give this card a boost. Or if you have another card that is really strong and you wanted to give that card a boost, it can only be Light Commander, but it will work this way. It's just that you cannot make the same card have multiple stacks of damage boost, which I think will just make, I think it'd just kill the game if you did that. But having multiple ultra rare cards, will that be a good, would that make it a good deck? This is something I'm thinking about. Keep in mind that you can only activate, you can only give the boost to the next card. So I think 2 ultra rare cards, 1 ultimate form, and one master collection card, or maybe 2 master collection cards might be okay, because what you do is you do ultra rare card, master collection card, ultra rare card, ultimate form, master collection card. Then what you're doing here is you're giving all 3 of your nuke cards the additional damage. And so you could potentially so that means you're getting 3 cards that have 500% damage boost, and that's a pretty that's a significant amount of damage output, I think. And so I think that would be pretty good. So let's see, Common Did I miss that? You can also, oh hey, look at that. You also boost Light Commander damage 70% for 2 turns. So let's try that out. Right? So like, I'm gonna take out Jailers just for now, because I want to try something, right? I want to try a deck that doesn't use Jailers. Although Jailers I think will be available in the next season. I think starting next season you'll be able to get Jailers. And so that's the situation. Afterlife Alliance, and is it Esh that gives me another attack boost? No, it's going to be the Master Collection card, isn't it? Is it going to be Bjorn? So let's see what happens here. Like, what happens if we just like boost our damage by a bunch, right? So let's go ahead and unequip this, and let's put in Bjorn, which is the ultra rare card. Okay, and so let's try this. Ugh. I want to see how much damage we can deal with this setup here. So with Jailer, with Jailers and Starborn Sentinels, we saw that each card was able to deal about 1.3 trillion after building up the intensity. Right? We built up intensity. That's the key. Well, not really. We built up key intensity, and so we actually had a lot of Earth power gems on the board. And I don't know if that altered the amount of damage that we were able to deal or not. But with this setup, you could do this all in turn 1. Okay, but we are gonna change our relics here, though. We do not need any of these Earth relics, and so we're gonna change this back. So let's go ahead and change all of these to our light relics, and let's see what it's gonna be like. So we're gonna see now sort of like a damage output difference with this. So good call there, Con William Deep, that Afterlife Alliance also boosts damage. I think that that makes for a really good test case. Let's try and see what we can get out of this. So Catherine McIntyre, so let's see. Wondering if they're... I guess you guys are talking about the Valentine's deck. Curious what it's going to be like. Okay, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to activate because this has a 5-turn cooldown. So I'm just going to wait to activate it. Even though I could activate it now, I'm just going to wait because I don't want to kill the boss accidentally. It's too late at this point, and I don't need to activate because I'm spawning enough gems as it is to make sure I can attack every single turn. All right, so just a couple more attacks, and then we're going to activate... you know what? I'm going to activate 1 turn before, because what that'll give me is it gives me additional power gems, right? So I'm going to activate these 2, because it'll give me damage boost for 2 turns. And what this will do is I can activate and activate. So you can see I'm getting a damage boost here. And I'm going to create 20 Power Gem 6s altogether, or 20 Power Gem 5s altogether. So I'm getting more Power Gems at the beginning of this turn. They all Gem Crush. And now we're going to go ahead and activate these cards in this order. Now let's see if we see a difference in our damage output. Like, let's see which one's stronger. Okay, so it's still slightly weaker than having the Jailer and still slightly weaker than having the Jailer plus the Starborn Sentinels there, because you saw with this combination, one single key, we dealt about 500 billion each card. And so, yeah, having Jailers in there still works. Jailers plus the damage boost is still going to give you a more edge, okay, than just pure damage output. And really that makes sense, right? Because if you think about it, with damage boost, you're just taking the existing damage and then you are just applying a little bit more. But with attack boost added to the mix, you're also increasing your base attack and then you're multiplying multiplying more. Like I don't remember the exact multiplication here, but from what we saw here, let's see, Jailers gives you, is it 1200 or 2400? Let's see, with Jailers. When you activate Jailers, you are getting an additional 1200% attack boost, and then you apply it twice if you use Starborn Sentinels. So you're going to get a 2400% attack boost plus the 500% damage boost and all that. That damage, it actually out-damaged this setup. I'm a little surprised because I thought that we would have gone quite a bit of boost here, because if you think about it, it's 70%. And another 70%, so we're getting additional 140% plus 500%. We were getting additional 640% damage boost, but that is still a little bit weaker than adding the attack boost. So, best output so far is still this setup. Let's go ahead and change it. So it's still this setup for me. Would have been better? I think. For me, Starborn Sentinels plus Jailers, this turned out to be the best damage output for me. Not sure how it's going to be like in the event, but so far at least, this is something that you could try. Okay, and having one Ultra Rare card, one Ultimate Form gives you 2 cards that will get the 500% damage boost. And I think that this is a pretty, if nothing else, it is at least very interesting. Like, it makes you think. It kind of makes you have to think about, which card you want to activate, and it gives you some choices. It's not like, an overpowering option where every single card gets the 500% boost. So you could argue that it's weaker because it doesn't apply to all the cards. But, we might see that in the future where every single card gets boosted by 500% damage boost, and that is where our power level goes from here all the way up, like to where you can't even see my hand anymore. I think that would be not so good for the game, because the health of the boss is going to have to go really high to support that. But so far, I think that of all the decks that we've seen, the previous Earth deck works well with the previous deck works only because you could pair it with Protectors of Prosperity, right? So I think that worked out well. But so far, I feel that if you take a look at the previous Ultimate Forms that we've got, let's take a look and see what I think is best so far. I'm still waiting to see the Fire one. But if you take a look at the previous Ultimate Form, so we got this one, which is the Wave Breakers. This one I think is, I remember it being just okay. I don't think I used this much. I like the dark one, right? I like this deck, Defraggers. This also worked really well with, although it felt like the damage was a little bit weird, a little bit weak, right? When we combined this with High Performance Unit area, it felt like it wasn't dealing as much damage as it could have. Although it was okay. I feel like this deck so far, just for me, it might be like my favorite. Not necessarily the best per se, but I feel like this deck might be my favorite for now. And so that is my take. Now, there might be a mistake here. I'm reading that the news feed is telling you to get ready for Water Affinity Slayers. It's going to be fire. It's going to be fire because they often will have some copy and paste errors. The season always goes water, dark, earth, light, fire. So after a light event, it's always going to be a fire event. There's no way they're going to skip fire and go into a water event, because that screws up the entire season. And so it's going to be fire for sure next time. Let's see. Ninja Nanas. Queen Maves Dispel Weekend. Okay, so yeah, so there's a lot of cards that can Dispel Weekend. And so there's going to be some options there for this. Here's a news feed also for the War of Hearth. So this is just something where they continue to advertise for bringing your friends in. So we're not going to get into that. Anyways, this is going to be, my assessment of the deck right now. You saw this in action. I think that the passive ability of the support card plus the ultimate form and the Ultra Breeder card, I think is really good. Works really well in wave format. The deck itself seems pretty strong with a 500% damage boost. Paired with Jailers is going to be, it seems like it's going to be really, really good. I'm going to check it out in the event so I can give you more feedback there. But so far, the best damage output I could see here is this combination. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more options that will be even better. This is just an example. And so hopefully this helps you kind of think about some ideas here. Like I said, if you don't have the current event deck, you could also use the... you could potentially use, where did it go? It needs to be Commander. You could also use Paragons of Passion, but I do not recommend using your Proving Ground Stores token coins to craft this deck. I highly, highly, highly discourage you to use the coins for this Ultimate Form because it is not worth it. It's not worth it for you to use your Proving Ground Stores. I know like what I'm telling you is basically giving up on 900% attack boost, but with your coins, you could get High Performance Unit Area. Like compare between that and High Performance Unit Area, or, I guess that's the best one, right? That's going to be the best one for you to pick. Like there is that, or the other one is going to be something that gives you Verdant Druids. Those are the two options. Everything else, like don't waste your coins on it. And instead, like you could still use this as an ally and you can go through your crusade relatively well. I will come up with some other ideas for your deck to hopefully help you through the event. But like I said, if you have the coins, if you can spare it, this could be an option. But saving it for fire next event doesn't seem like a bad option either. So that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Have a good event. And I will...